7:40 on your hometown station, KHTS Hometown Morning Show with Tori and Kyle.
You like dogs?
Yeah.
Cats?
Yeah.
Birds?
Yeah.
Reptiles?
No opinion.
You know who does like all of them?
You.
Our guest.
Oh, I see what you did there.
Dr. Jaimie Ronchetto.
Oh, she talks about animals and things.
Yeah. We're going to ask her some questions. Do you have a question like off the top of your head?
Should I get a dog? I have 5 kids and no yard. So should I get a dog?
Dr. Jaimie, what do you think about that? No yard, 5 kids, 2. By the way, he failed to mention that 2 are brand new. They're 2 months old. They're twins.
Wow.
What do you think?
Well, I think he really needs to think long and hard about it and see if it's something that would work well for the family right now, because it does sound like he maybe has a lot on his plate.
What do we look for? You know, we get our hearts are tugged at. You know, when you go past little puppies in the stores or someone has puppies to adopt and there's an adoption going on, and we look at those puppies and they look at you. And what do you do when it tugs at your heartstrings and you may or may not have either the room or the situation? What should we look at? What's the most important factor?
Impulse purchases are never a good thing. So you really should think about, you know, where you live. Do you have a yard? So if you don't have a yard, you don't want a really large, high energy dog. You want a little dog that will be fine being inside, that you can just take out on a leash to go potty and come back in. Your work schedule, if you're gone all the time, and especially if you get a puppy that's not potty trained, that's not going to go well. Somebody needs to be home with that puppy to help potty train it until it really gets the idea of what it's supposed to do and that it can hold its bladder for many hours throughout the day while you're away. You know, having family and having kids is fun for, you know, it's fun for everybody to have a puppy or a dog at that time. But certainly we have to consider allergies. Does anybody in the family have allergies to pet dander? If so, if you're going to get a dog, then try to get one that maybe doesn't shed so much.
Are there, off the top of your head, is there a breed that kind of is hypoallergenic? Off the top of your head?
There are some breeds that don't shed quite so much. I think every dog sheds a little bit. Mm-hmm. But like poodle mixes, I think Malteses, those types of dogs don't shed like crazy. And so they tend to be more hypoallergenic. Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean, those are the main things that come to mind, certainly.
Are there puppies or dogs that are not good with children? That they should, you know, if you're looking for a puppy and you have small children, what kind of breed should you kind of steer away from?
That's a really good question. There are some breeds that are maybe better with either grown kids or just adults, but a lot of it is in the way that they're raised and in the way that you raise your kids too. A lot of the problems that I see are children that aren't being shown how to appropriately interact with a puppy or a dog.
Well, they get, you know, no fault of the child. They do get excited.
Absolutely.
And they probably want to roughhouse a little bit, and they don't understand, you know, how fragile a dog may or may not be.
It's just important to teach them from the get-go, you know, not every dog is going to want them in their face all the time. Mm-hmm. You know, give them a little bit of space. If they are a smaller dog, they can get hurt. So you have to be careful with how you handle them and, you know, gentle petting and
never touch their food.
Yeah, exactly. Don't touch their food. Don't tease them. If they're a puppy, they will go through teething, and a lot of the teething is very mouthy, chewy behavior. So if they're getting a little too excitable with that, don't, you know, put your hands out to stop them, and lots of like high-pitched squealing, even though that's, you know, they're trying to say no. All the puppy hears is more excited noises, and so they get mixed signals. And so that's where we start to see a lot of behavioral problems start, is in the very beginning like that. So it's just teaching everybody how to appropriately interact with the dog.
Would you recommend classes?
Absolutely.
Like doggy
I think
classes?
training classes are very important for everyone.
For the dog and for the owner.
Exactly.
And for the children involved. Mm-hmm. So it's not an outright no. It just is a matter of you have to look at all the factors to see what would suit you and your family when you're looking for a dog, maybe not even a puppy. Maybe you can adopt an older dog who's already maybe trained. Look at the factors. It isn't something. I'm hearing from you. I'm getting the sense that it's not something you can just decide today and this afternoon you have a puppy.
Yes, I would very much warn against any kind of behavior like that. Like we just talked about, a lot goes into it, and certainly adopting or getting an older dog is very rewarding. Like you said, a lot of the initial training has already been done. Mm-hmm. The dog already knows what it's supposed to do, what it's not supposed to do. And that it can make it a lot easier that way. I think there's a big misconception that adopting an older dog, especially if you adopt or go to a shelter, that they're going to come with all of these problems, and that's not the case.
Now, once you have your new pet, a couple of things you have to remember. They may or may not need shots. Right. They need to get looked over, make sure they're healthy, and that's where you come in.
That's where I come in.
That's where you come in.
Yes.
Cinema Vet, located on, of all places, Cinema Drive. What? 661-253-9300?
Yes.
Did that from memory.
Perfect.
Yay, Tori. Shots. Mm-hmm. You've got to get shots. What's the most important thing right out of the gate?
Well, rabies is required by law, so we do want to make sure that they're up to date with rabies. Usually, if you adopt from a shelter, they would have had their vaccines that are good for a year. Typically, rescues are the same way, but if they're from a rescue, depending on their age, they may or may not have gotten everything. So it's always good to bring your paperwork on your first visit so we can review that and make sure that they're up to date with everything. And if not, then we can get you a plan of how we're going to get them all up to date. Sometimes we like to spread their vaccines out a little bit so it's not so overwhelming to their system.
To the pup.
Yeah.
So it looks like we have a plan. It looks like we need to think long and hard, put everything down on paper, pros and cons, what will fit the family, what will fit your lifestyle, what will fit your budget. I think we forget that pets can be expensive.
Yep, absolutely.
A little bit more than we think, especially with the maintaining the health. Health is very, very important.
Yes, and that's where pet insurance is a really good idea.
What? Wait, what? What?
Yes.
Talk to me very quick. We have like 1 minute left. Can you do I don't know anything about this.
Just in a nutshell, pet insurance, you can get it pretty much at any age. Obviously, getting it from the start is always the best. Different companies will offer different options. Trupanion, just to throw one out there because we work with them quite a bit, will cover for any sort of illness or injury. They don't cover for just normal healthy pet stuff, but other companies will. It just depends on what you would like covered. And you work directly with them. You usually pay us up front, and then you submit your invoices, and they will reimburse you.
Fantastic.
Yeah.
That is definitely an option. Dr. Jaimie Ronchetto, go see Dr. Jaimie at Cinema Vet, 253-9300, located on Cinema Drive. We'll see you in a couple of Tuesdays.
Sounds great.
Okay.